Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about how I make Meseta. However, we're mainly going to be focusing more on the concept other than actually telling you to farm specific items. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to go over is supply and demand, and this is extremely easy to understand what is in demand simply by interacting with the player shop NPC, and the very first page you get are going to be the top sellers. So everything in the first 5 pages of the top sellers are items that are high in demand because they're in the top sellers, which means people are buying these things. So for example, the first item at the very top is the XD Def Parfait. This is going for 9 million, 10 million, somewhere within that range. But the issue is this is an AC Scratch exclusive item. So if you're a free-to-play player, you don't have access to this item, so we're gonna skip over to the next one. The next item over here is Hal Finale. Hal Finale has gone up in price recently because people are thinking, okay, cool. Right now we have the new 9-star rarity weapon, the Tisah Weapon, but it's stupidly rare. But we know within 2 months we will get new armors as well as new weapons. Sure, the weapons might not be as good as the Tisah weapons, but those new 9-star weapons are going to be a lot more accessible, so a lot of people are going to need to upgrade in 1 to 2 months. So it might be a good time to start stocking up on a lot of items so that when people need the Hal Finale in order to upgrade their stuff, they're going to be ready for it. And so Hal Finale prices are going up in price. Next one is the High Ale Domina. High Ale Domina is currently going for about 3 million simply because, well, it's the new capsule and it's probably one of the best in slot capsules since it gives you 10 HP, 4 photon power, 3 potency, as well as 2 potency floor increase, which is a very nice capsule, just a little bit difficult to make, a little bit expensive. Then of course we got more XD capsules, but this is the big one, Golden Primm Sword 2. So you can see it's currently going for 46,000. It's been hovering between like 45,000 to 55,000. It's been hovering within that range all day, but the Golden Primm Sword 2 is a very good way to make money. I've made a lot of money by selling the Golden Primm swords. If we just go to my Run personal shop and view sales, you can see over here Golden Primm armors, Golden Primm swords. I've just been selling a bunch of them. Sure, you know, each transaction doesn't seem like a lot. It's like 40,000, 20,000, 70,000. It's all about these small transactions. The thing is, I have like 20 pages of this. So, you know, each page over here is like, you know, 200,000 Meseta-ish, but you've got a bunch of pages, you add that all together, oh boom, you've got like 2 to 3 million just from that. And that is just from the Golden Primm armors as well as the Golden Primm swords. Now the reason why I can do this is because my weapon is already at plus 70, so I have massive amounts of damage, so I kill things incredibly fast in the combat zones as well as all of those boss type enemies. I've realized that the Golden Primm sword only drop from the boss type enemies, so you know, at the end of a PSE burst or the T's and all of that stuff. So I've actually been ignoring the PSE burst strategy where, you know, you save the T, you kill all the E's until it's 4 bars and then you get a PSE burst. I've ignored that strategy. I literally beeline to whatever comes up, whether it's an E or a T, and I kill it immediately because the main thing that I'm farming for is of course the Tisah Weapon. But on top of that, you know, Golden Primm swords, Golden Primm armor 2s, they don't hurt, you know. Getting a few of those would definitely help me make a little bit of money. So that is my main source of money. But it doesn't end there because I also sell Strugments. As you can see, Strugment C right now is going for 11,000 Meseta. And I actually sold 1,000 of these. So by selling 1,000 of these, that actually equals 11 million Meseta. So I made 11 million. Okay, it's not actually 11 million minus all the taxes and all of that. It's about like 10 million. But still, I made 10 million Meseta just from Strugment C's alone. And this is on ship 2, by the way, so the prices of Strugment C's might be higher on your ship, probably is higher on your ships, because a lot of people are realizing that if they need armed refiners, you actually need a lot of these Strugments. You need 10 Strugment A's, 10 B's, 10 C's, as well as an NEX cube just to craft one arms refiner. And in order to craft the arms refiners too, because they don't want to farm at New Sim Plant, you need 15 arms refiners as well as 5 NEX cubes. So it does add up pretty quickly because that's basically 150 of each Strugment, and if you want 2 every single week, that's 300 of each Strugment. which is why selling 1,000 wasn't that big of a deal. Now what about the other Strugments? If you look at Strugment A, it's not going for that much as 4,000, it's still much higher than before, and B is going for 6,000. So Strugments is something that you can definitely look at because you're getting it passively anyway as you're farming in your combat zone. Regardless of which combat zone you're in, whether you're Mount Magnus, Vanford Laboratories, or Resil Forest, you will get all three of these Strugments. Now the quantity or the amount of these Strugments that you get is kind of based off RNG. You're kind of at RNG's mercy. However, if you farm long enough, you are going to get a bunch of these, which was why I was able to sell 1,000 of my Strugment Cs simply because I farmed a lot in Resil Forest. Now another thing that you could also make money off is of course the weapon camos. So the Vialto Almaty CV, this is currently going for basically 10 million. This weapon camo drops in Vanford Laboratories and it looks pretty cool, you know, really nice looking spear. And if you're farming a nuisance plant simply because you need more arms refiners, you also have the chance of getting the Dragon Slayer over here, which is still going for 15 million. Even though we had that limited time quest where we were guaranteed the Quartz Dragon every single run, the drop rate for this is so low that even with that limited time quest, the price didn't really go down by much. Okay, it did go down, but it's still relatively expensive and going for quite a lot of Meseta. So you could always try your luck and hope that you get one of these. Now, of course, these are the high value, really low chance type of items. The things that are more consistent is going to be, of course, your Golden Primm Sword 2s, your Golden Primm Armor 2s, as well as the Strugments. Those should be like your bread and butter because you're always going to get that. You're pretty much guaranteed those as long as you play enough. And last but not least is of course the Tisah Weapons. If you get incredibly lucky and you get any of the 9-star rarity weapons, congratulations, you've hit the jackpot. At the bare minimum, that's 100 million. And we're talking about ship 2. Ship 2 has a lot of whales and a lot of people that can afford this, so 100 million on ship 2 equals probably higher prices on other ships. But with all that being said, should you be focusing on all of those items that I just said? Sure, if the price is right and if they're still in the top sellers. However, what you really want to look at is what items are you currently getting in the areas that you're farming for. So for example, let's say that you really enjoy PSE farming like myself. You're farming in Resil Forest because that's where the katana drops and you're praying to God that you get that drop. But in the meanwhile, you're going to be farming a lot of other random things that go straight into your material storage if you have material storage. You want to look at all those items that you're obtaining and see if any of them have any value. That's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be searching for items that have high value and target farming them, because the way that NGS works is, you know, the drop rate is awfully low for a lot of the higher rarity things. So even if you hyper focus on one item specifically, the chances of you getting it is awfully low. So what you want to do is you want to kill multiple birds with one stone. So for example, PSE farming, Recon Gigantic farming, Gigas hunting, these are all great ways to make money because you're killing multiple birds with one stone. You're not only target farming that Tisah Weapon, you're also getting a bunch of different capsules as well as a bunch of different materials, which you can also sell on the player market. Now, if you only care about raw Meseta and that's all you care about because you're free to play, you don't have a shop pass, and you just don't have access to the player shop, then PSE farming is your best friend. Simply just go to a high rank sector in Alio and farm your face off. Again, the main reason is because there are a lot of high value items that have a chance of dropping in the high rank sectors, while you also make a good sizable chunk of Meseta. But let's look into the future of next week. So how on earth are you going to be making a ton of money next week? There's mainly two things that you want to look out for. First of all is the limited time quest. You're going to spam the daylights of the limited time quest because it has a chance of dropping the Tisah weapons as well as a bunch of useful materials and capsules. So spamming that, you can't go wrong with it, because if you get a Tisah weapon, congratulations, that's 100 million minimum in your bank. Second of all, find out where you can get the phase 2 dual capsules and just farm the living daylights out of that, because the whales are willing to pay a premium to get all of those new Defi capsules so that they can farm the new dual quest, simply because the new dual quest has a bunch of new cosmetic items if you get the titles and all of that stuff. So a lot of the min-maxers and whales are going to be incentivized to try to complete that on day one, and you know, it's content, people enjoy completing things on day one immediately. So these two activities are going to be what I'm personally going to be focusing on, other than of course the regular stuff that I've been doing already this week, which is PSE bursting, Recon Gigantic farming, as well as just Giga hunting. These are really the only things that I've been doing all week, and I'm just going to continue doing that all of next week. because it's really good money and a lot of people are burning themselves out. So by the time next week kicks in, I expect 80%, maybe 90% of the community to be like, I'm not farming for a Tisah Weapon. It's never gonna drop for me. I've burnt myself out. I've farmed 50 hours already and I'm just not gonna farm for it anymore. And that's where you will win if you continue to farm. Now, of course, if you're not having fun doing it, please don't do it. You know, you're gonna burn yourself out and you're not gonna have fun about it. But if you still enjoy the grind and you're having fun and you're just having a jolly good time, then just continue going on, because you are gonna be the provider for all of that demand. So you're gonna make a killing. As less and less people farm for Strugments, for example, and more people want to buy Strugments, well, the prices of Strugments are gonna go up. So all those expensive capsules, the high ale dominas, as the supply dries out and you're still farming, you're still generating supply, but more and more people want to buy it because the new gear is coming out, then the demand goes up, supply goes down, you make a killing on the market and you profit. So at the end of the day, it's all about supply and demand. Do you have what people want? If you have all of the items that people want, you sell it when you think the price is right. And then you cash out and make a ton of money. Those 1,000 Strugment Cs that I sold that I made 10 million on, that didn't happen overnight. Farming for 1,000 Strugment Cs takes time. It takes a couple weeks. But I've been grinding away ever since the game started. So I have thousands of these Strugments. So I was able to make a killing on the market because I noticed, oh wow, the price is right, it's at 11,000. You know, Strugment Cs used to sell for like 2,000. So that's a huge spike in price. So I was able to make a killing. So just keep farming, keep stockpiling things, and when you notice that something you have has a very high price, sell it. That's pretty much the TLDR on how you make a bunch of money. You don't need to constantly be chasing the newest, hottest thing all the time in order to make money. However, it is a viable strategy if you want to do that.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!